Hey, cutie pies. I am Lanikia, and this is what happened on the soaps. Today is Thursday, April the 21st, 2022, and we are doing the Young and the Restless edition of what happened on the soaps. Oh my gosh. Let me just get to this so I can get to the ending because it just broke my heart at the end. So we see Nikki, Nick, and Victor, and Nick says, I'm going to go look for Victoria, and Nikki said, maybe we should too. And Nick says, no, the roads are too bad. Stay here. I want y'all safe and protected. Stay here. So he goes to look for Victoria, and Victor and Nikki stay. And Victor tries to distract Nikki by saying, oh, they got this molten lava cake. Look, the chocolate mix. Victor, you don't care nothing about that molten lava cake. And Nikki says, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to distract me and everything. And he said, yeah, I'm trying to distract myself too. So hears from Nick, and Nick says Victoria is not on the site, and but Ashlyn's car is there. And he was like, "What is Ashlyn doing there?" He was like, "I don't know. They're both gone." He said, "But there was a third car." And he said, "Okay." And he said it was Ray, and he didn't make it. And Victor's just like, "Oh my gosh." He says, "But I'm out here." He tells them what they are, and Victor and Nikki are like, "Okay, we're gonna go ahead and go out so we can help search for Victoria." So while this is going on, we see Chance, Sharon, Chelsea, and Connor are talking, and Sharon gets up and checks her phone because she's worried now because Ray would have hit her up. And so, Chelsea goes in and she follows her while Chance keeps Connor entertained. And Chelsea says, everything it's got to be hard being a police officer's wife. So everything is, they're just talking. And then Sharon says, I don't mean this to come out the wrong way, but you were going to enjoy tonight, because you got to be with, it would have more to do with Connor, but you were going to enjoy the night because you got to be with Ray. She said, because you can't tell me the thought hasn't ever crossed your mind that what if Sharon wasn't in the way? Could I have gotten back with Ray? And Chelsea just tells her he's a good man. And he only has eyes for you, and that's all that matters. Is that he loves you, and that's it. And Sharon just says, I don't mean to offend you. I don't want to offend you or anything like that. But she says, I understand. But he only has eyes for you. So then Chance gets a phone call while he's there, and he tells Sharon he has to go. But he didn't tell her on the phone call that they said there was a fatality because he believes this is Ray, because he was like, Ray should have been here by now. So then we see Chelsea ends up having to leave, so that leaves Sharon there at the society by herself. So then we see Chance has made it to the accident scene with Nick, and he and Nick are talking, and they're just like, he tells Nick we're gonna find Victoria, and then Nick asks him how's he doing because Ray was his partner and everything. And he said he already had a feeling that this was going to be Ray because he knew he should have made it back to the society by now. And when he heard it was fatality or whatever, he was hoping it wasn't going to be Ray, but he had a feeling. And he says, someone has to tell Victoria. And oh my gosh, girl. He says someone has to tell Victoria, and he's like, she doesn't need to hear it from a stranger, even though a police officer doesn't need to hear it. And Chance says, I can't leave, so can you go tell her? She, someone who cares about her or whatever. And Nick says, all right, I'll go tell her or whatever. So then, Nikki and Victor were looking for Victoria, right? And so Victoria is in the cabin with Ashlyn. Y'all, this was an emotional episode, and it was a good episode to me. But the one thing I couldn't stand on this episode, how many times was Ashley going to say, I need to go get you help, Victoria, and not go get help? Why you kept saying that if you're not going to leave? And Victoria, why are you doing all of this? Like, he done said it 3-4 times. He loves you. But anyway, she tells him to tell me again about Ray. So he tells her again, and she said, we got to go help him. We got to go find him. We got to, he could be alive. He could have just been passed out. He said, Victoria, no, he didn't have a pulse. He wasn't breathing. He's gone. And she said, oh my God. He said, Victoria, this wasn't your fault. Some kind of way his car came over into your lane and you swerved to hit it. He said, but it doesn't matter. When the police find it, they'll do an investigation on it all. And she was like, oh my God, no, it can't be Ray. Like, that's Ray. That's Sharon's husband. He's a good man. And she just tells him about all of the things that are so wonderful about Ray. And she was like, it can't be him, but it is. And so she's distraught, but Charles, she keeps telling Ashlyn, why are you here? Like, what do you want from me? You saved me. You saved my life. What do you want from me? And he tells her, I love you. Like, I couldn't watch you burn or die in a car the way saw my best friend do. I couldn't go through that with you because I love you. He was like, I don't care if you're not with me. I don't want anything bad to happen to you or whatever. I said, look at Ashlyn might be. Oh, sorry. Look at Ashley might actually love Victoria. So then Victor and Nikki come, and Victoria's like, Mom, Dad. And she was like, they're saying something about Ray. And Victor and Nikki are like, don't worry about it. We're just going to get you, some help to make sure you're okay. And Victor was like, Locke, what were you doing there? Or whatever. And she said, he saved my life. And so she tells them, I'm not going anywhere with y'all until you tell me about Ray. And so they tell her Ray did not make it and everything. And she's like, oh my gosh. Um, so then we go to um, Nick and Sharon. And I know I'm going through this fast, but I mean, it was really just them repeating everything. So then we go to Nick and Sharon, and he goes in and she says, oh, Nick, you scared me. And she's still at the society, and he says, we found Victoria's car. And she said, oh, he said she wasn't in there. And they said, oh, well, that's good. That's good, because that means that she's probably went somewhere for safety or to get help or something. He was like, yeah. And he said, so then Sharon goes, she's like, oh, I'm sure Ray will be happy to hear that. When you're married to a police officer, they're always gone. And she was like, I'm making Cinnabons. I can make a fresh cup of coffee for us. And she said, I'm making Cinnabons and brownies. That's Ray's favorite. She was like, he could be in a dead sleep, but if I make those Cinnabons or whatever, he'll pop right up. And you could tell that she already knew. She already knew, and she just didn't want to hear it. And so Nick says, Sharon, I have to tell you something. And she has her back turned to him, and she says, I know, because her eyes were already red and everything. She says, I know. I already know. But give me a few more minutes of everything being normal before you tell me, and the world falls apart. And so he tells her, Sharon, um, Ray didn't make it. And she just breaks down and she hugs him. And he says, Ray didn't, the accident happened. It was a 3-car wreck. And they did everything, he was gone before they could even get there. So um, he just lets her know that he didn't make it. And he just lets her know he didn't make it. And oh my gosh, I felt so bad for Sharon. I felt so bad for her. Like, and so she just breaks down, and she told Nick, he was holding her, and she said, I can't, because it was just sad. And that was the Young and the Restless today, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you tomorrow for a new episode.